Hello, we are here with the filmmakers, Koura and Spacey, and they actually have they have a couple projects they submitted. They were quarterfinalists for their scripts, and there was one that was selected out of all the scripts that were selected. It was in the top three, 9/10 of the law, 9/10 of the law. And then we also have a film that was selected in our to be in our lineup this year. It was Gone Gray. I am so happy to have you both here today. I understand that you two are the dynamic duo in terms of husband and wife production company combo. Introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about how you started your production company and just the different projects. Like how do you find these projects? How do you create these projects? Like how did you find the writers to write these projects? Fill us all in.
Wow. Well, I'll start, I guess. My name's Koura. I am a light-skinned woman with reddish brown hair, currently wearing a black beanie with silver dangly earrings, a Jewish star necklace, and a sort of multicolored sweater. I started this company in 2013, so that's probably a much longer conversation than we would fit into these 30 minutes. But Spacey and I were friends. I may or may not have had a crush on him. Apparently he had a crush on me too, so that worked out.
Wait, where was this? Was this in LA?
So we met through the online open collaborative company Hit Record.
Okay.
So that's a whole other conversation. But I'd started the company kind of as like a DBA at first, and there was like one specific project I was working on. Fast forward several years, and we were getting married, and we spent our honeymoon on set. It was Spacey's first time on a film, like a full film set. It was pretty exciting, and so over the years, the company kind of grew, and now I work as the president of the company. That's my day job. And Spacey is the executive vice president. Because we're both filmmakers, we do a lot of the work ourselves. So for most of our projects, we either write them or co-write them ourselves.
Oh, wow.
Or we option them. So you mentioned 9/10. 9/10 of the law, I co-wrote with one of our partners at Space Dream, Nick Gambino. Shout out to Nick. He just won the Austin Film Festival as a writer, which is
oh my gosh, congratulations. That's amazing.
We're really proud of him. 9/10 of the law is based on a book by Claudia Long that we optioned and adapted it into a screenplay that Nick and I wrote. The scripts that we have as quarterfinalists are Comic Relief, which we optioned, and Spacey and I did the rewrites on that. And then the other one that's a quarterfinalist is Dancing Beyond, that we optioned, and one of our friends and collaborators, Sarah Daly, who works with Hex Media over in the UK. She's amazing too. She wrote that screenplay, and I developed it with her as a producer, but not as a writer for that. For Gone Gray, because I know we're supposed to be talking about that movie. For Gone Gray, we created that film for a film challenge, and we were given the prompt of a spy genre.
Oh.
And the theme of Arise. That was the only thing that we were given. So Spacey, we've never done a spy movie before. So I'll let Spacey speak more to the writing of it, because he wrote the first draft. I collaborated, but it was definitely his story. He's the lead director and lead writer on that. And then on set, it was just us as the crew, because that's kind of what we do. So all the set dressing, effects, makeup, wardrobe styling, wardrobe creation, cinematography, lighting, editing, music, that was all.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yes, I'll let him talk now. Sorry.
You are hearing me talk. Hi, my name is Spacey. I am light-skinned. I'm wearing a gray shirt. I have a purple tie, and I have dark brown hair and a sort of a scratchy, beardish, mustachy thing going on here. And I'm very happy to be here. And yeah, it's hard to really go into what it is that makes are what we do any more special than what other people do. I just think it's kind of all starts with the idea. And I think good ideas win out and bad ideas shouldn't. I don't know if that's sometimes bad ideas make it all the way to whatever, but
They do. Money's
but
a powerful thing.
it is. And we didn't have a lot of money behind this project, just a lot of heart and a lot of enthusiasm and a great team. Obviously we were kind of taking care of a lot of hats, wearing probably 50 hats each, trying to take care of everything. But our actors were great. We had people on set helping us. And yeah, I just want to say that it's a privilege to be here. And I think filmmaking, movies especially, it's the amalgamation of all the arts and all the different disciplines that go into it. They're so vital, to have people who know design and
Yes.
editing and great writing and acting and just so many parts that come together. I'm just thrilled that we are here and that people, hopefully they enjoy the film and get something out of it. And yeah, spy, I've never done spy, but I'm a big fan of the genre. Yeah, I just hopefully it was something fun and original and thought-provoking.
Yeah. So was it your idea to make the person who was, I mean, I don't know how much of this film I want to give away, because the whole point of these Q&As, the whole point of this Q&A is I'm hoping that when people watch this Q&A, it'll spark an interest where they're like, oh yeah, they talked the Gone Gray. I actually want to go see it, So as you all know, or this could also be a place where they watch the film and then they have questions that they would have asked. They would, it's like, because I have you all live here, I'm going to, be asking you the questions that they're probably thinking about. So
right.
Without giving too much of the story away, whose idea was it? Your idea, Spacey, to make the person who was interrogating, the lead actress? Was it your idea to make that person who that person ended up being?
I don't know. I don't know how nebulous I want to be about it. I think it's kind of just my process. I wish I could say that I'm okay. I'll just say that I think there are two kinds of writers. I think there are those who are architects. They like to map it all out, make a clear blueprint of what they're going to do, and then they set out to write it. But that means a very strict outline of they know what's going to happen in the end.
Yes.
And other writers are more like gardeners. They like to just plant seeds and see what grows. And I think I fall into that that latter camp of being a gardener, but I would like to think of myself as an architect, like I planned it all along. Because you get to the end, I'm just writing and writing and writing, and I get to the end, and the end is, what if this happens? The twist, and then suddenly that twist, then it informs. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it informs everything that came before. So you start to develop the beginning so that it speaks to the ending. That's kind of my approach whenever I write. It's because it's a great nonlinear form, because you don't have to just get up on a stage and perform it as if it's happening. You have a lot of freedom in writing to just write the ending first. If you think of an ending, you write the beginning first. But yeah, I just wrote from the beginning, got to the end, and then of course Koura was involved in kind of punching some things up as well. But as far as the basic structure, or the basic garden, I guess, the basic, whatever you might call it, the flowers that sprung up, I guess I planted them, and then Koura watered them.
So it seems that you both are writers. You both are writers. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a live event.
I know she is. Yeah.
So we're going to have a live event at our festival. Koura, I know you've participated through Filmocracy in the past, but we're going to have something called the Screenwriter Showdown, where all of the screenwriters who want to participate are invited to participate, where they're going to be in a room. They're going to be in a virtual room, and this is going to be a live event. This is one of our few live events that we're having, where the live event is going to happen. and our filmmakers, our tech professionals are going to be in the audience. And we're going to give all of our screenwriters a prompt. And they're going to have 5 minutes to just kind of like take in the prompt, just organize their thoughts. And then they're going to have an hour to write on the prompt. And it doesn't have to be an intro. It could be middle of the scene. It could be a middle of the story. And this is just a kind of it at the end of that hour, the audience, the people who are there we're going to have a chance to read through everything. And then they're going to vote for whoever wins. And whoever wins, we're going to actually end up bringing the winning screenwriter up to the stage for a Q&A with the audience. The audience, and again, the audience is going to be filled with other filmmakers, tech professionals. They're going to ask you questions just about the process, and we're going to have actors reading the short blurb that you all created. And so it's because Spacey, because you are actually a screenwriter as well. Did you both want to participate in that? Is it going to be like a husband going, head on with the wife?
It wouldn't be. I did actually ask our other writers because, like I said, 9/10 the Law was co-written by me and Nick Gambino.
Yeah.
Dancing Down was written by Sarah Daly.
Yeah.
Comic Relief was co-written by myself and my husband and
Yeah.
a writer named Alex Hawthorne. So I did reach out to them and ask if they were interested in joining. They definitely are much more they prefer the life behind the scenes as the writers, kind of like they don't have to usually be in front of people, and they opted out for that reason.
Yeah.
But I thought it would have been fun if we all were doing it together. I don't
Yes,
have any notion of
absolutely.
doing, just a fun thing to do. So if Spacey wanted to do it, I would absolutely encourage him, and I would understand if I think my only reason of being able to do it is that because it's an audience vote, I never it's just fun. It's just something to do for fun.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
and it's like the reason why I want this too for the audience is because I want them to because a lot of these people who are going to be in the audience are like tech professionals, and a lot of them aren't familiar with the whole process. They don't know the writing process. And this is kind of like their sneak peek into seeing what the writing is like behind the scenes. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this during your Q&A is because you all have submitted so many of the scripts. You obviously are very familiar with the writing process. You have your own production company. So I just feel like this is definitely something where a lot of people can, walk away, learning a lot from both of you.
What say you, honey?
The fact that anyone could learn anything from me is it's inspiring, but it also feels kind of like a weird kind of dynamic. But at the same time, again, I'm with Koura when it comes to writing. That I'm not very extremely competitive when it comes to creative endeavors. I feel like everybody has anybody could be a winner in it when it comes to, and it's all comes down to taste, like judges and audience choice, and that's totally fair. It's totally valid.
Absolutely.
So the process for me would be the most exciting part. I like a challenge. We participate in a weekly workshop where we do 10-minute writing challenges, where we sit down and write. And it's always, the fun part is like reading other people's writing, what they wrote in a short amount of time with a prompt, maybe a single word that inspires them. And you're like, wow, like I would have never thought of that. And you get ideas, you spark off of other people's creativity. And I think that's the chief appeal. I would think I wouldn't want to do it to impress anyone with my ability. I don't think I have an inordinate.
To be honest, it's just an hour, so I feel like everybody knows that. But it kind of gives them a taste of it's meant to be inspiring. Like if these people can come up with a story like this in an hour, it's just it's meant to motivate. And not only that, but it's they see your process, they see your capabilities. And I know that in the audience, there are going to be other fellow filmmakers as well, where they have ideas for a project, but they haven't hired a screenwriter yet for it. So I feel like from a screenwriting perspective, this is really good networking for you as a screenwriter to network with other filmmakers who maybe like they're going to come across, a film with like, they're going to come across like a budget, and then they need to, come up with a script. And so, if they meet you and are familiar with you and connect with you, it's like, this is just another avenue for you to be connected to them later on as well.
It's always
Yeah.
awesome to collaborate with people. And yeah, like I said, I know I signed up for it just because it's fun. I don't have I don't have any thoughts about like, oh, we could win this. It's a fun exercise, and any opportunity that we have to kind of work that writing muscle and like.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like one of those things, like the more opportunities you get, the more, you think on your feet, like the better that you're going to get as a writer. Like, Koura, did you participate in the Screenwriter Showdown with Filmocracy?
I did, actually.
How did that go?
I won.
You, oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
So it was very surprising. I did not expect it at all. My internet.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know that I won. No, I literally said, I was like, I'm so sorry, my internet froze. What just happened? And someone went, you won. I was like, oh. But no, I did not expect that at all. I started writing one story, and about 30 minutes in, I just didn't like where it was going, and I was like, not working.
You're
So
like, forget this.
And I started.
I love that. Yes. You just pivoted.
Yep. They gave us the prompts a couple hours earlier, so we had some time to think about it.
Yes.
I had come up with an idea that I thought maybe was too cliche, so I didn't do it. And then I tried writing something else, and then I was like, forget it. Let me just do that idea. At this point, I just want to.
Yeah, we actually went for a hike, and on the hike, she was back and forth ideas, and one idea that was really great, I was like, oh, you should do that. That's it. Stop deliberating. And then she kind of, well, that's what she ended up doing. It's just, I think that's the writer's struggle. I think it's like, well, which is the best idea? Which is what do I do? And then you start out one way and you're like, no, this isn't working. And you go back to some other idea you have, and you just blast through in 30 minutes what maybe it took someone else an hour to do. That, so I think that's kind of interesting how that works, where it all comes down to ideas. And I think she had a great idea. And if you doubt yourself for a moment, then that's going to creep up on you and kick your butt a little bit. But then, it still worked out. So.
But I love, Koura, that you had like the knowledge to be like, you know what, I don't like this. And you just, instead of just powering through because you already spent 30 minutes on it, you were just like, no, I'm just going to get rid of it and I'm just going to do it again. Like, I just think that that's the coolest thing. Like, I love that you did that. And I feel like that's kind of what separates like the seasoned writers versus like the amateurs, right? The amateurs would just be like driving themselves crazy, trying to make it work, even though, but it's like, you trust your instincts. You're like, nope, this isn't right. Like, we're going to move on.
Yeah. It's like in poker, being pot committed, you can lose all your money, all your chips by just thinking, well, I gotta go see this through. I have to complete this because I'm here at the table. It's knowing when to walk away. Those are the most successful gamblers, or the ones that know when to quit. They quit more often than they play.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
You have to, sorry.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're totally fine. I was just going to say that I do have to mention that I did have the absolute honor and privilege of attending an art and craft of screenwriting lab through Sundance several years ago.
Oh my gosh.
That they taught was they went over writer's block and what do you do when you run into writer's block. And one of the things that one of the writers went over was sometimes a road is closed for a reason. Like if you're driving and there's a roadblock, usually you don't keep driving.
No.
Writing and there's a writer's block. Why? Like maybe it means don't go that way. Like try something else. Try a different direction.
I love that.
So that was, that was really good advice. And I think that was probably in my head when I was like, this road is closed. Like there's nothing coming. I need to just have something on the page. And from our 10-minute writing workshops, I was fairly confident that I could have something, possibly abysmal, but something on the page in 30 minutes. I could get something out. And that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to write something in 30 minutes. That's it. Just something. So I was probably more shocked than anybody else.
You ended up winning. It's like
Oh,
incredible. So incredible. Well, I am so excited to, introduce our audience to, not only your work, Gone Gray, and then, we're going to also have 9/10 of the Law available in our video on demand section. So you all can actually see Koura actually has actors that she is going to bring along to read along her script. So this is definitely something. And for you in the audience, if you end up watching this, and if that particular script really, it really touches your heart, or this is something that you really, really want to be a part of, Koura and Spacey, like, how do people get in touch with you? Like, what are your socials? Like, tell us like how we can stay in touch with you, how we can find your work, how we can like follow along with your adventures.
Classified. I'm just kidding. um, so I will say we are a production company, so we do have a veritable slate of options, both for reaching us and for projects. There is our website, spacedreamfilms.com. So one space, one dream, and lots of films.com. There's a contact us form. There's an email sign up. We also are on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as Space Dream Productions. So one space, one dream, lots of productions. We are also, some of our projects, we have Names on the Wall on Facebook. It's also available to stream on Amazon Prime. We have Catching the Light movie on Instagram and Facebook, and Comic Relief movie on Instagram and Facebook. We have my husband's is I'm just going to say amazing musician. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to listen to this, but
That's great.
he really is. If like the Beach
True.
Boys, the Beatles, and Beck and Wilco and Bob Dylan had like a musical child, they would be my husband. And I mean that with like the deepest sincerity. He's phenomenal. You can check him out at iamspaceship.bandcamp.com. You can also follow him on Instagram at iamspaceship and Facebook at iamspaceship. And you can get all of his music because I think he's just fantastic. It's very actually music, like not like a lot of modern music. And we do have a couple short films that we're going to be doing. One is the script that I wrote during the Filmocracy Showdown. So we're going to be producing that. Hopefully, we're looking forward to that.
What's that? Which project is that?
It's called Past Tense. I didn't submit it to anything for this because it was just feature screenplays.
Yep.
Good, but it's a short, and it's sorry, I just got a message. Flip my phone over so I can't see it. It basically, I don't even want to say the log line. It's about basically who has the power to change your life. And then we have one called UFOMG, like UFO OMG. And that's one that my husband wrote, and it's sort of sci-fi, and we're doing a sort of an animated version using this AI technology that we use, that we're kind of excited about trying. We've used it for pieces of films. We've never done an entire film with it. And then we have our feature film, Catching the Light, that we're getting through post-production right now, and you can follow us on the socials for that one. And we have a feature film called Comic Relief that currently has a fiscal sponsorship by the
That's great.
So anybody looking for any end of the year tax write-offs, you can make a amazing contribution to a very involved and effective arts organization that is devoted to bringing art and film and storytelling to communities that don't usually have access to it, especially in Utah.
Yeah, it's the Utah Film Center.
Utah Film. And we have a sponsorship through them, so we can give that information as people need it, or they can reach out to the Utah Film Center and say that they want to contribute to Comic Relief, which is the name of our film. That film also just is a recipient of the Big Sky grant from the Montana Film Office. So we would love to be in production on that next year. We just need to finalize our funding. We're partially funded. We just need the rest of it. So that's super close, and our talent is in place. Like, we are ready to go on that one. And then we have a film called 9/10 of the Law that we are putting the budget and everything together for. We just finished the screenplay. And we have a feature film that also was a quarterfinalist called Dancing Beyond, that is inspired by the true life occurrence of Vaslav Nijinsky, the Russian dancer who, if you look him up, he had a very tragic life, and he was a very pivotal dancer to the world of dance. He actually met Charlie Chaplin. They were contemporaries, and Charlie Chaplin wanted to make a movie about him, and it never happened. Nijinsky passed away before that came to fruition. And this story is about a young woman who is a writer who's trying to like get into like channeling spirits for a book that she's writing, and a friend of hers who's an actor who is being put in for the role of Nijinsky for this film that's now being made. And it's their experience as she channels someone that apparently is Nijinsky. And
Oh, yeah.
what spirit does to their lives, and kind of like how we see ourselves and how we see other people. And I think it's a really powerful story that was written by Sarah Daly, an option from a book called Dancing Beyond by Monica Canducci.
Yep.
And that was a quarterfinalist. And then I'm trying to remember, I will be here for the next 20 minutes if I'm listing off all of our work. So
you know what? So you know what? I actually have a suggestion. So this is it's our 7th year having this festival. And something that I've noticed, a lot of the tech professionals that end up showing up, they a lot of these professionals either have a child, maybe like an example that I shared. I believe I shared it with Koura a while back, but you know, like maybe like an executive has like a child and they've always wanted to put their child, you know, in acting, but they never did. Or a lot of these tech professionals, they themselves maybe wanted to get into acting, but they never did. They pursued the route of tech money, you know, that's why we're here. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of investments from tech professionals that I've noticed, they are very hesitant in giving over a large sum of money to somebody that they don't know, which is why I think the speed networking is so pivotal in establishing and developing relationships. Because once you develop relationships with somebody, once you know, follow them on their journey and you trust them a little bit more, it's like one of those things where they'll invest in a short film. And then if they see that, you know, they really like working with you, then guess what? After that, maybe they'll like invest a little bit more money on your feature film, right? It's like, I feel like that's a misconception that a lot of people have when they come to pitch events, particularly with, you know, with tech professionals, because tech professionals operate very differently than regular investors in general. I feel like with tech professionals, it's so important to develop relationships with them, which is why when you talked earlier about the short films that you have, that you didn't submit, but that you have, I personally think that when you are talking with some of the tech professionals, it'll be very, very wise for you to lead with the short films, because if you can find some tech professionals to partner with you on these short films during the whole production of the, you know, the short film, you get to develop relationships with them. And then later on down the line, because you're already connected with them, then that's when you can introduce them to your feature films and some of the bigger budget films.
Absolutely. I do think that we are a little bit different from kind of like, obviously there are other filmmakers out there that are producers and are seasoned producers and stuff like that. I think that one of the differences that we have is that when you invest in a film, you're stuck with that film. And if nothing happens to that film, you don't get your money back.
Yep.
We have a slate of films, which means that you could invest in 5 films and just one of them has to sell. So you have that much more opportunity for a return.
That's great. That's so good. I feel like that's definitely something that you want to make sure to include when you're having conversations with the tech professionals, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's very unique. That is very unique and different.
We do also have that fiscal sponsorship with the Utah Film Center, which means that they have the opportunity to make a 100% tax deductible donation where it's a complete write-off and there's no risk, there's no nothing. They receive a fully accredited IRS form, like they get that guarantee no matter what. And they are able to make that contribution to the arts while receiving the write-off, while supporting our film at the same time, which I think is a nice sort of middle ground.
Yes.
We also have, because I am a business person and I do run a company, we view film from a business side, which is people are going to want returns, want their, you know, to see a result from their investment. It's
Yes.
very difficult to get a return on a short film. That's just,
Yep.
it just is. Other than the experience.
Yep.
We have completed 27 films in the last 6 years, and we have received over 100 award nominations and 44 awards.
Yep.
So if someone wanted to speak to us further about our projects or get a familiarity with our work and see some of our work, they would definitely be coming in more in a sophomore phase than a freshman phase, as
Yep.
far as our experience with budget structure and budget management and with expenditure and with, being conscientious of overhead and monitoring that. And so many of our films have been self-funded. We are very, very conscientious of the value of even $1.
Yep.
And, we don't look at something and be like, oh, that's going to be at least $5 million. And it's like, well, why? Like we can explain why. Like we only have one film that isn't even remotely over six digits. Like all of the other ones are 6 digits or under, because we don't need that much money to make it. So why waste the money? Just make the movie.
Absolutely.
Make a profit.
Absolutely. Well, especially if you don't have a name actor and you end up
Mhm.
selling your film, you want to make as much money back as possible, right? So,
And
and
we
you know
do
what?
have to work. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's, you know what, like, what's really interesting, you were talking about how a lot of the times short films, they don't have a return and they don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of money in it. Well, one of the things that I wanted to share with you both and for our audience is that I was actually a judge at a film festival called the Louisiana Film Prize. And one of the things that I had never been to Louisiana, by the way, before I was a judge at this festival. And I was shocked to find out that the grand prize winner of this shorts film festival is awarded $50,000 in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the largest cash prize that I saw being given out at any film festival. And so, the following year, I partnered up with, a director, and we ended up taking a short, to the film festival. We didn't win, but it was a very, very great experience. But, from like an investment standpoint, because I executive produced the project, I paid for the entire project. It was great for me though, to, just kind of be in the running, right? Like, cause they select 20. So it's like the top 20. And then from there, the audience watches all of these films. And in order for them to vote, they need to watch all of the films. And I tell you what, it takes place in Shreveport, Louisiana. The entire city shows up for this film festival. It is insane. And so the thing is, like, the condition of you submitting a film, though, you have to film it in Louisiana. So they have these rules that you have to follow. But the thing is, I feel like with you all, have you all, contemplated, for, your short films, having your next short film, like, film in Louisiana and submitting it to this film festival. I mean, with a $50,000 grand prize, like that is going to be very appealing to investors, because then they're going to get their money back if they win, if you all win. And there's only 19 other films that you're competing against, And so it's like, it's just something that I kind of want to throw out there, because I think that the caliber of those films get better and better every year. And something that I've noticed is it's always the same local filmmakers that submit the films, which is why I think having outsiders come in with their film projects is always like awesome. It just kind of like mixes everything up a little bit. And I will say that the films that, do very, very well are comedies and musicals. Those are the things that like that audience just like eats it all up. They just love it. I mean, one year they had a film called Shreveport Sun. We screened that film here last year. It was more of a drama. And that won last year, and that was a drama. But again, the year before that, it was a comedy. So it's like, but the films are always just phenomenally done. So just wanted to throw it out there for you guys, because you all have the scripts, in your pocket, and who doesn't want to compete for a $50,000 grand prize?
I'd like to meet that person because they have some serious control in. Yeah, I would film in Louisiana again. We actually filmed a project in Thibodaux and in the very southern part of the state in Grand Isle. We did a project there a couple of years ago. So yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. I love Louisiana.
Look it up, Louisiana Film Prize. If you see it, the website is up. I think they're like open for submissions right now. And again, it's like, I'm not affiliated with them. It's just, I was a judge
Free
at that
advertising.
festival. Yeah, I know. Because I mean, $50,000, that's pretty insane, but
Yeah.
also from an investor standpoint, again, it's like, if you have the, potential to get again, like you said before, short films, there's no money in short films, but if there's this potential to make money on short films, like this is the place.
That's amazing.
And
Yeah,
this is something that you could share with the investors, the potential tech professionals that you meet during speed networking.
absolutely. It's great advice. It's great to know, and it's great to just kind of keep those options in mind. There are, with streaming platforms now, there are more interest
Monetization.
short, like
Yep.
more monetized options for short films. But
Yes.
definitely they work best as proof of concepts to features, like you said,
Yes.
testing relationships, testing out
Absolutely.
content. Yeah,
I really think you should make a proof of concept for 9/10 of the law. I think that is such a strong script, which our audience will see from the table read. Phenomenal, phenomenal story. And I feel like that's definitely something that would do really well in the future. And it would get, if anything, through the proof of concept, you can maybe find a lot of investors.
Thank you.
I agree. Yeah. I didn't
hope
have a hand in it. That's why I'm saying I agree. I just think it's objectively a great script and would make a great film, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
hopefully people can watch Gone Gray and they can kind of get an idea for the type of work that we do.
Yes.
We did Gone Gray. We had our actors on set. There were a couple days where we had one PA with us. There was one day where we had no PAs at all. It was just me and my husband. So all of the interrogator's mask, I made that. The wardrobe was all styled. The girls, the spies with their bandoliers and bullets and all that stuff.
Love it.
We found the locations, dressed the locations, set everything up, filmed it with a $25 CCTV lens that we bought off Amazon. You don't need a million, you don't need an Alexa Mini or a full camera package necessarily, depending on what you're filming. So hopefully people can look at some of the work that we have done and kind of see what we're capable of and see the types of stories that we tell, and maybe use their imaginations of what we could do if we actually had more than just the two of us on the set. That's what we do with just us. So Gone Gray, I'll shout out. We had Megan Spencer for a couple of days as a PA, and then Jasmine Labooch, she was my assistant for a while, and she's phenomenal on set. And it really is having the right team, being with the right people. Our film on Amazon, we filmed that in a day and a half. So it's all about what resources you have and how you use them. And hopefully people enjoy our film. They enjoy watching Gone Gray. And we're excited to come to the festival and see everybody else's films and kind of we're just excited about it all.
And I will tell you, the films that we accept every year at our festival are very, very different. They're very diverse, but that's the whole point of Silicon Valley. I feel like the whole purpose of Silicon Valley is a place where, things that you normally wouldn't have watched, we have a filmmaker from Tanzania, that came. We have films from Canada. We have films just from all these different places, and they're on such different topics. But it's meant to create conversation. It's meant to create debate. It's meant to think outside of, what we're used to and what we're comfortable with, so that's the whole purpose of this. So I'm so happy to have you both here, and thank you so much for your time. And again, everybody, if you want to follow Koura and Spacey, I know at least Koura is on LinkedIn as well. So, feel free to find her. Koura Linda. Spacey, are you on LinkedIn too?
I am, but it's under Spencer Shipton. I'm just not extremely active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's something I need to correct, but I'm on there.
Bandcamp, find the music through the music.
For sure. Yeah.
So yes, everybody, just thank you so much. Yeah. What were you saying?
So much. Yeah. I was just going to end with one of the overarching themes of this piece, which is about really it's about grief, and it's about coming to terms with different things that happen to us in life. And I think there are ways to cope with things, and I think it's sometimes about looking at things in a different way, and hopefully that's what our film does for people. If I had to really put a name to it, yeah, grief is something we all are dealing with. I think even more so in these recent years
Yes.
than in any other time. And that sounds weird to say, but I think especially for these times, like a sort of postmodern era where we have things so good and yet things can be so terrible, and
Yes.
things can happen that just really make us question our reality and
Yes.
our relationships. And I think anything that strengthens our relationships and our ability to deal with things, I think is good. And hopefully this film is that for some people. So that's
Absolutely.
all. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, you two.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we'll see you at the festival in a couple weeks.
Sounds awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.